All right, Sean. Okay, first order of business is to approve the minutes from week before last, or
Month before
last month. Yeah, we got a motion to
Second.
approve. We got a second. All's in favor? Okey-doke. We got a, I guess you're taking Jan's place, I guess. Who are you? Oh, okay, well, we got some communications from you. Well, I'm AJ. Nice to meet you too. Okey-doke. All right, well, let's go to the next item, application number ZV 4939 at 109 St. Clair. Consider request for a variance to Glynn County zoning ordinance section 701.5 to reduce the setback on 109 St. Clair to 4 foot from 7 foot, where it abuts 111 St. Clair. The .39 acre property is zoned R20 residential, parcel 0401231, David Glynn and Nicole Ann Wilkins owners. Can I hear from staff on this matter?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Christopher Carey, Glynn County Planning and Zoning. All right, so the background for this application, the applicant is requesting a variance to the Glynn County Zoning Ordinance Section 701 to reduce the setback for 109 St. Clair from 7 to 4 feet, and that is by the amount of 3 feet. The site is zoned R20, one family residential zoning district, where the side setbacks are 7, and the applicant is currently approved for an addition within the current setbacks, and the application is RBUI 99076. Right here is the site of where the variance is to occur, showing the side setback at 3 feet of reduction. Here's the current site. Here's the approved site plan or sketch plan. And the current sketch plan for the current addition. And these are your possible motions. Again, staff does not recommend approval due to the variance. And that is it.
Any questions for staff? I got one. I noticed there on the, if you go back to the survey doesn't show, it shows that it's in compliance, but the sketch plan there, I don't understand.
So this is the approved application, and then this is the application for the variance. So they're approved for building within the setbacks, and they're requesting a change to what was already approved. So this is what they're asking for the variance.
So there was a plan previously approved?
Yes, so the plan previously approved was in the beginning of January or the middle of January, and then they requested a variance, I want to say about 2 weeks after this was approved.
Oh,
I had a question. Do we have a copy of the original sketch that was submitted for the building permit?
Yes, this is the original sketch.
I mean, no,
about the floor plan.
the floor plan, excuse me.
I'll get ready to
Yeah, do we have the original floor plan that was submitted
I don't have
for
that.
the building permit? All right.
but there was an original submitted that was in compliance.
Yes. And this was a part of that application.
Okay. How do we get from in compliance to out of compliance? I guess I can wait and talk to the owners about that, or the owner's representative, whoever.
Yes, so I do have the owners here, Mr. Wilkins and his wife as well.
Okay. All right. Any more questions for staff? Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. And next, I guess I want to hear from the applicant. You step to the podium, give your name and relationship to the project and what's going on here.
Good morning, I'm Glenn Wilkins, or David Glenn Wilkins, the owner of 109 St. Clair. So we wanted to add on a garage. This house was built in 1972, I believe, in the early 80s. The garage was converted into a utility room and an office. When we came out, or when we purchased the house had been remodeled in 2016. So what happened was they raised all the ceilings inside, blew in insulation, fantastic job. I was just laughing about it that we don't even know sometimes when it rains because it's just solid in there. One of the challenges that we have is that we don't have any room for storage now. And so we're building the garage, which the intent of the garage is to actually have cars in it. You saw my old truck out there. Part of that is to get that in there, so when I'm working on it, I don't have to cover it all up. So the extra 3 feet would be beneficial for that. What we're doing, I'll be real, I'll try to make this quick. Construction began, we got approved. We began construction. I confirmed with the general contractor that the survey had been done and confirmed, so we knew exactly where the property line was. When they went out to find the spike, we couldn't locate it, and I said, well, then let's have a survey done, and let's make sure we know exactly where we're at on this, because I don't want to have to come in and beg for forgiveness afterwards. So let's just get it done. So we did that. We looked at the distance, and I said, gee, that seems, that 7 foot is pretty long, seems like a pretty good distance. I know my neighbor, John Griffin next door, is fine if we push back a little into the actual setback or to the property line. So I decided to go ahead and go for that application. What we're doing is, if you see in the right-hand side, there's the colored line, the bold colored line that runs diagonally to the left. That is where we want to build to. That sort of dashed black line is where the approved plan is. So we just want to push the wall out a little bit further by 3 feet. I figure that's probably a fair enough area to be storing Christmas trees and whatnot. But that's the nuts and bolts of it.
Okay. All right. Has that got it for you?
Yeah, unless you have any more questions.
Well, that's what I'm.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've actually got a couple. Number one, to the question we had before, do you have a copy of the original floor plan that was submitted to get the building permit?
I don't have, I do have a copy of it in an email that I can send. I did not bring a hard copy of that with me, though. I mean, I imagine staff has a copy of it, but I don't have one with me. It's exactly the same plan, just pushing back out.
Okay. Next question, why can't we pull on the garage door side? Why can't you go 3 feet that way?
Because I believe is what happens, I start encroaching on the setback on the street side, on 109 St. Clair. If I extend, what you're saying is to the right, if I'm looking at the door and then I extend to the right, I believe that gets me encroaching on the street.
Not this way here.
Out.
Bring this wall this way. Instead of going that way with the wall,
Right.
go that way with the wall.
From what I was told is the way that it wouldn't keep the symmetry to the building. It would make it more of a Y shape. As soon as I pull out this side, then it's, instead of being a rectangle, it comes out even more on the front side, making it an odd shape going in is what is the conversation that we had, if that makes sense.
To be honestly, it doesn't. I mean, if you just take that wall and literally, if you take that wall and just move it exactly.
And
keep
swing it out?
No, keep it parallel. Just move it straight, just like you push the back wall back 3 feet. Take your garage doors and pull them straight forward 3 feet.
So I believe, and I'm not the contractor on this, but I believe what happens is because we're attaching directly into the corner of the house to the existing wall. And so I think what we'd be doing is we'd be getting into that structural support of the corner. So if I pulled it out, I'd be cutting, and I don't have a laser pointer, but I'd be cutting into existing wall. This way they're attaching just to the corner. If that, I don't know if I made myself
I
clear.
saying, but I still think you could take, like say, that point right there.
Correct.
Basically move that point effectively this way.
Right.
So that whole wall comes out, and that point where they meet, or that, in that V,
Where the apex is?
right, you're not changing that angle, you're just effectively moving it 3 feet
Yeah.
further down that wall. So none of the angles change or anything. You just gain your 3 feet on the front side of the garage as opposed to the back side of the garage, and then we don't have to get into the setbacks.
So I think the reason that they're doing that is for the slope of the roof, what they might have to do on that, and then also for cost efficiency, because then they have to blow out that corner is my assumption. We didn't have that conversation, so I'm making assumptions. Oh, that's right. Yep, that's
If
right.
you want, you probably need to step to the podium and give us your
Yeah,
name.
did you want to say that?
Well, you can't be just barking out. You gotta go up there and say your name and tell us formally so we can get it on the record.
I'll state for her record. So if we do come out, there are actually windows on that side, which I had forgot about as well. There are 2 windows that are in that place, and you can see where that's indicated on the site plan.
Okay. In the initial plan that was submitted, the initial floor plan that was submitted for the building permit approval, was it not considered at that point the length of the vehicles and the depth of the garage at that point?
Yeah, it was. We made sure that it was long enough. Again, it's one of those things, once you actually see it on the ground and you look at it and you say, okay, boy, the storage situation would be more efficient if we could at least even get that 3 to 4 feet extra just for storage. It's, in all honesty, it's when you walk around and touch it, feel it, and look at it. You look at it on paper and it doesn't, scale's different.
Right.
I think there's a little complication on the plan there where the 2 roofs come together, where you got this angled roof coming together with this straight roof. It's where you got the hip in the back and the valley in the front don't meet.
So
I don't know if
the
that
roof
has
is,
anything to do with what we're talking about, but
yeah, so the general contractor that's doing this is a roofer by trade originally and is doing this other work, so it's going to be a stick build, the way that they're going to do that. But the entire property is going to be covered, so you can see where the existing house comes out and attaches. There's an open area where we have the utility units in there. That's not going to be covered. It's going to be covered, and it's going to be enclosed, but it's not part of the inside. So we're going to have gravel there, so anyone who needs it can access the utilities or the electrical on that side. As you can see, there's a door that has access to it as well. So yeah, it is going to be covered. I agree. I'm not a roofer. I look at it and say, look, if you know what you're
I'm more
doing.
from a framing standpoint.
So it's kind of to that point, where your meter base and all that is on that back corner, because I rode by and looked at it and I see where the meter base and all that stuff's on that corner.
Sure.
That's going to be covered and have a gravel and a door in front of it, or is that just going to be?
So it's going to be covered, but it's not going to be inside. It's not going to
Not
be.
going to be enclosed.
Right. There's open access for anyone to come and read at any time.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was getting at, is I don't know the answer to the question, but can you even put a meter base? Colleagues here may be able to answer that. Can you even put a meter base? Can you cover it like that? Because the meter base is like right there.
Correct.
And if all of that is covered, can we even do that by code?
I don't know. I don't.
Well, I mean, let's think about this. Ellis looked at it, gave him the permit for it. So, I mean, this is,
But he gave him a permit for a different,
It was
Different
covered
layout.
then.
but it was
was
covered,
covered
it
then?
was still
Yes,
covered
sir.
to begin with, so
Yes, sir.
I guess that's okay as far as building inspection is concerned.
okay. That was just another point that I just having to think about them.
Yeah.
You have overground or underground or overhead service
I know
to
Georgia
your
Power
house?
likes to have a little
Underground.
closer to the
Underground.
street.
Okay, so I don't see it would be a problem.
I guess that's
No,
an
there's no
existing
problem there
situation.
with,
So the problem with pulling it forward, as you say, is it's going to block some windows or something in the utility room there, or storage.
Yeah,
whatever it is?
it'll tie into a window there.
Uh-huh. And we couldn't like pull it forward 18 inches, and so you only take 18 inches of setback, or would that be agreeable?
I mean, it's always possible. I mean, look, as we've always said in engineering, enough money, enough engineering, you can get anything done. My neighbors, it was his suggestion. He says, well, why don't you just come back this way? He says, it doesn't hurt my feelings any. He says, and if that's the most simple way to do it, let's just do that.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I was looking for the path of least resistance on expanding that. But
Right. Yeah, well, I mean, we just have, you know, everybody wants to build in a setback and.
Sure. That's why we didn't want to come out towards the street. We wouldn't do anything that was coming into public right away or anything like that, and with an amenable neighbor. And
Was the possibility explored of putting it right here?
our septic is right in that area,
Gotcha.
and then that ties into all of the guest bedrooms.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah.
I have some history with this house, and I'm kind of aware of everything that's going on with this thing. I think too that if we ask him to come forward towards, I guess that's the east. If you would come forward from the garage doors forward, I think that right front corner is going to get in the front setback because of the curvature of the road.
You can see it right there. There's plenty of room.
I mean, it's gonna be close.
It looks like a dimension line right there or something. It's pretty much what Cliff's talking about. I can't really see where it is. Maybe it's on here.
This is gonna be a difficult build, either way. I mean, wasn't there an issue with the original survey?
There wasn't an issue. The original survey was done back in 2015, and it was marked, but we just couldn't locate the marker, and I just wanted to make sure that we had it done. It's the same folks who came out and did it. I'm trying to remember the name. Sam
Copeland.
Yeah, Copeland is the one who did it. They just reestablished where the line was for us.
Okay.
But yeah, with the shape of the property, it's a pie, and it's just not a lot of options.
Yeah, I guess it's zoned R20, isn't it? So this is,
Did
I see that somewhere in the
I believe I saw
in
that.
the information? And then the lot's only like 15,000 feet, so it's a substandard lot, I guess. So the batter boards that I see up here that were in that picture had your truck in it, that was from the old, I guess it was from the old plan that you were working off of before you changed it?
No, yes. The original ones that were submitted in 2022 of January, those were the original plans where they started tearing up the circular driveway. That was the picture when we started working under the original plans. And then I had construction halted to make sure we knew exactly where property lines were, that we were in
That's
compliance.
when you're looking for the pin and couldn't find it.
Right. I said, look, I'd rather take the time and make sure we get it done right.
Okay. All right. All right, any more questions for the applicant? Okay, is anybody here for or against, sir? Okay. All right. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any discussion here amongst us, or anybody want to make a motion, or?
I'm gonna make a motion that we approve ZV 4939, based on the complexity of, pie-shaped lots, just hard to do anything with. The neighbor next door has no issues with this, and so that's my motion.
Okay. Y'all know what comes after the motion, don't you? I'd kind of like to see a compromise, like maybe if we could move it forward 18 inches and take 18 inches out of setback. Is that a possibility? I guess.
I mean, if you do that, you're gonna kind of screw up the left front corner. I mean, the right front corner of the house. I mean, the way that hip is right there. I'm not quite sure how that's gonna tie in.
Yeah.
I mean, you're an architect. What's it gonna do to it?
Well, it moves that valley off the corner.
do I know how to use a laser pointer? I was looking, and I'm gonna do my best. If you came straight forward to that line, and got your 3 foot in the front, it's gonna reduce the size of your doors. I can't read these drawings with the size of your garage doors. What size doors were you planning to use? Well, I mean, 8 foot, 10 foot.
I believe the size of the door was an 8 foot. I believe it was
so
a
if you-
standard. We weren't
Probably
doing
9,
9. Okay.
I would say 9.
I hadn't
standard
got that
single.
far yet. No,
Okay.
actually, I don't. 2 8.2s, according to
2 what?
2
2.
8 foot 2 inches.
And what's,
Must be a rough
what,
opening.
what vehicle are you wanting to put in that particular door?
We have an SUV, and then that particular one on the right would probably be the pickup truck, and then on the left would be the SUV.
They're 8-foot doors? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I believe, is
That's
that
what it
what?
said. That's the
That's
odd
what's on the
size.
plan.
They come with Vaseline to get in and out.
You're gonna need that.
That's a small door. Mine are 9.
Yeah, I'm thinking mine are 9.
Are they 9?
10 and they're tight. Of course, I got a big truck, but
I don't have that big of a truck. Hers is a crossover, so it's a crossover SUV kind of thing. So it's not like a big
so
Yukon.
it's not that big.
Yeah, we're not throwing in a Yukon or anything like that.
One more scenario. If we did what my suggestion, coming out here to pick your 3 feet up, go back to 1 garage door as large as you can fit in the hole instead of 2 garage doors, in order to keep you within your setbacks. And I mean, it'd be little, you might have to back your pickup truck a time or two to get it over where you need it, but you're not in and out with it every day, I don't think. And go to a 12, 14 foot door, whatever you could fit in there, because like I said, I can't see the dimensions on that.
Right.
I don't know what we have to work with.
So my truck is my daily driver here.
Okay, I thought when you said working on it, you had to cover it up with a
Well-
tarp. I didn't know.
There are things I got to do on it. It runs and it runs good, but
Okay.
there's some things I was wanting to do. So
Okay.
that was the goal. I mean, it is a daily driver.
Okay, I didn't understand that.
Yes, sir.
One other random thought. What's the dimension across this corner, this side here versus this dimension?
So it has a width of 21 feet, 1 inch and a half.
Yeah, it's 21 feet across the garage door side. What is it depth-wise on this side? What I'm getting at is, would it be possible to put your garage doors on this end?
So yes, it is possible. One thing that we didn't want to do is back it into traffic, because that is a sharp curve coming around that corner. And the purpose is to be able to pull in directly and then back out and come out nose first so you can see
Gotcha.
traffic.
Okay.
Yeah, safety issue is what we've.
I'll tell you where I'm at on this. I mean, I'm not completely opposed to the variance, but I'm not here to just grant variances when there are
I
other
understand.
options. So I'm trying to explore as many options as possible. And I try to look at these, me personally, everyone individually. Kind of my big hangup is this is already a substandard lot. It's R20 and we're at 15,962 feet. So we're already substandard there, which limits things you can do to it. So that's kind of where my hangup is. I'm not completely opposed to granting it, but I'm struggling with that. So I'm looking for other options to where we don't have to grant the variance. It's kind of,
And that was the.
Compromise.
or, yeah.
And that's what we looked at originally too. How can we do this with the least impact, with the least amount of impact of variance? So I didn't want to come for a variance. Sure. But when, like I said, it's when it comes down, you start looking at scale, and you actually look at what that gives you, and it's okay. Well, where are we going to put stuff? We don't have storage, and that is just very difficult just because of the size of that lot.
Is there an option to make the more attic storage,
No.
not to go a little taller there? Of course, I guess then you change the aesthetics of how it ties into the house, so,
Right, and the pitch of the roof and
Right.
everything like that's already
right?
there.
Bob Duncan did the drawings on this, right?
That's correct.
Okay. I know he struggled with them, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
So, I guess technically we still have a motion on the floor.
We do.
What was, the encroachment was 3 feet in?
3, leaving 4.
3 feet. It was 3 feet into the setback.
Yeah,
Somebody say something. Going to sleep here.
given just not a lot of options and don't want to just sit here and contemplate for hours, motion on the floor is to grant as requested. I'll second that motion.
All those in favor? All opposed? Okay, you got your variance.
Thank you. I appreciate your time and your questions, too.
Certainly.
Thanks.
That's what we're here for. That's a tough one. Okey-doke. If there's not any more further business,
I
No,
guess
sir.
we need to have an election to vote
Yeah.
Nisi in as secretary.
Yeah, as you learned, Janet retired last month, so you'll need to elect a new recording secretary.
okay, well, then I need a,
She didn't check with us
Yeah.
about retiring.
She didn't check with very many people.
That's kind of like Michelle going on vacation without checking with us.
Yeah, it's not Janet's style to do it that way.
I mean, she's okay and all right. I
Oh, yeah,
mean,
yeah, no,
you decided it was time to go, eh?
yep, she just thought it was her time.
Wow.
She's been with the county how long?
Decades.
A long time,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'd like to nominate Nisi as recording secretary.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Oh, we have a new record. So
Well-
that was official.
Welcome to the jungle.
Okay, we have no further announcements.
Okay. So now no further business. Adjourn.